Home, for me, has always been the place where I feel the strongest, the most comfortable, the most supported. This is one of my neighborhoods in San Diego. I say one because I have two as a result of having divorced parents. This is also one of my neighborhoods. But there's a difference. The second one consists of low-income homeowners. The houses are smaller, less prettier, but there's also another visible difference: the police presence. When I'm living in my mom's neighborhood, I see more police and more arrests. I hear more sirens, more speeding of police cars. But even with this higher amount of police interactions, my sense of security is the same, if not less, than how I feel when in my dad's neighborhood. This influenced my desire to try and understand why this difference exists, especially with the obvious different economic status with the residents. Why are there more police in low-income housing? Is it because of poverty that crime rates are higher? Does race come into play? Or is it all just a coincidence that poor neighborhoods that are predominantly non-white have higher crime rates that need to be addressed with an increase of police? One economics professor at Santa Clara University explains, crime is determined by many factors, not just poverty. Segregated communities with persistent multi-generational poverty may be more prone to social dislocation, violence, and crime, given their poverty rate. Racial profiling and plain old racial prejudice within police forces are definitely a factor. There can be bad feedback loops as trust is eroded on both sides.
And that type of disproportionate interaction, when it's seen as unfair and illegitimate, breeds a distrust of law enforcement. It makes people distrust cops, who are the most visible faces of our legal system. And when people distrust law enforcement because they believe that the law is not being enforced equally across all communities, they grow to distrust their government and believe that their government works for some people, but not for all people.
To look at this issue with just an economic lens may seem simpler. But then I am missing the grasp of the whole picture. As economics is mainly numbers and statistics, by including the discussion of race, these numbers become people, groups of people, minorities, who are targeted for the social class as well as the color of their skin. Now, speaking of statistics, let me throw a couple at you. In 2013, the U.S. Census found that blacks and Hispanics have a significantly lower median household wealth along with a higher poverty rate. Home ownership for blacks and Hispanics is a little over half of the number of whites. A similar relationship can be found with income as well. Looking solely at neighborhoods and housing, there's an obvious correlation between the quality of living and the race of the residents. With this correlation that I just demonstrated, I introduced to you another. In 2012, 3 Florida State University professors found that when it becomes physically visible within a community that its residents are at a level of socioeconomic disadvantage, and there's a rise of foreclosures, or the houses or even the buildings surrounding the neighborhood become visibly neglected, a rise in crime occurs. With the realization that this issue is affected by several factors, including race and economics, how can we find a solution to help find fair and equal treatment given by police officers? The solution I offer is economics. Help fix the neighborhoods through social programs such as housing programs, subsidies for jobs employing locals, food stamps, Medicaid, childhood development programs, and investing in schools. Currently, we are trying to solve this issue of crime by increasing the police presence. But this so-called solution is not fixing anything. It is simply a reaction, not a prevention. If the purpose for police is to stop crime, why is there no effort to solve the issues that are the factors within crime? We must fix the discord from the bottom up, form policies that address the issue, and help improve the communities rather than tear them down. We must prevent rather than react.